Haha. That freaking dog. I tried to fool y'all into thinking I'd taken a shower by putting on a dress. It's true. I didn't. No one's watching. Well, that's good. It's just me here, the dog, cat, some clean sheets, the dog trying to tell me that she needs more water. What you can do to act really sad if you're thirsty is to lick an empty water bowl. It makes people pay attention to you. It does. So, one question I've gotten a lot of lately is, you look good. That's not a question. That's a precursor to a question. You look good. How much weight have you lost? And I guess people just feel like, because I'm me, like, go ahead and ask. Like, you got pregnant quick. How did you do that? So tonight I have Angela Thatcher on, who has a great business. She is an old friend, and she kind of restarted her career in obesity medicine. And I just love her. And so when I talk about weight loss, I'm always like, well, I need to talk about Angela. And so she's coming on in just a minute, and you're going to hear from her. Cute dress. Oh, thank you. It's from the Posh Pelican. So Angela's going to tell a little bit about what she does, and I'm going to tell a little bit because, I like to talk a lot. I'm going to tell a little bit about why I'm on this journey and how I got started with Angela. Hi.
Hi.
I have tagged your page in the post so I don't have anybody saying, how can I find Angela?
Thank you.
Angela lives in North Carolina. She used to live in Edenton. We still miss her and hope she'll come back, though it's doubtful. But maybe.
I'm at least needing to come for a visit soon.
You could at least come and visit us. She was
Yes.
invited for my big weekend, and she no come.
I had to work at the urgent care.
Yeah. It was not a very weight loss inducing weekend. My husband acted like I was trying to give people heart attacks because I served barbecue sliders, mac and cheese, and basically jello shots of banana pudding.
That sounds like the appropriate thing to eat in May in the South, right?
Yes, it felt
At a party.
appropriate.
Yeah.
And all the jello shot banana puddings were how did I end up with 2 pans of barbecue chicken and no banana pudding left? I think people from California, one woman had 9 in her purse.
It must have been good banana pudding.
Oh, it was good. It was from the Smokehouse, which was in our state a couple months ago. Um, the Smokehouse is serious Edenton barbecue. So, Angela, I was telling them a little bit about how I ended up doing a work campaign, which I was talking about the other day with the same person that's hired me, and with this woman, Dr. Stafford, who's at Harvard. And I'm on this call with Dr. Stafford, and I think the last time I had dieted, because I'm a, lifelong dieter, or at least since I was in my 20s, said, this has nothing to do with willpower. This is not your fault. I mean, I felt like the heavens opened. I mean, it was like Noah when he sent the bird out and the bird didn't come back. I mean, I was like, what? All this time, I've just thought, you're chubby because you eat too much. And while this is true, I blame myself. And it was the first time that I'd heard, maybe it's not my fault. And it was so empowering just to hear that. And I sat on that for a year and thought, well, what am I going to do? And then somehow how did we figure out? Maybe you sent me a message and said, this is what I'm going to specialize in.
Yeah, I sent you a message. Actually, I think you shared a video of Dr. Stafford, and I sent a message. I was like, oh my God, she's amazing, because I've gotten to go to some of her talks with the Obesity Medicine Association, and then that kind of started our conversation, and then I just sort of kept you in the loop with what I was doing as far as setting up Lifelong.
And I think I'm totally past it now. I think, and I'm still working on it. I think there's this stigma of, oh, well, you took medicine. And I blame People Magazine for this. People Magazine, if you're watching, but People Magazine loves to throw somebody on their cover with like a pair of jeans that they're wearing over their whole body and saying like, I walk 5,000 miles a day and I lost, 8,000 pounds. So then the rest of us are like, I mean, one of those covers, I like joined the gym and went like crazy and lost like 10 pounds. I was like, well, that was a waste. And then I would quit. But Dr. Stafford was like, with what you said, whatever you need to do needs to be sustainable. If Weight Watchers works for you and you can do it, sustainable is 5 years, not 10 minutes. So if whatever you're doing works and you can do it for 5 years, then have at it. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to that because, I think most of us probably have gone through the experience of doing something to lose weight and maybe it works really well for a short period of time, but then as soon as we stop, then the weight comes back. And so that's
Right.
kind of, realizing that, what's happening there and trying to find something that's not just a time limited plan, or that you have some sort of a plan of what to do when you're finished with that particular plan so that you don't just gain all the weight back.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I've never done that. I guess I've never looked much past just losing the weight initially. But over the last 6 years I've been, blogging, I'm able to go back and look at how much I weighed each time I started the new diet. And it was like it started at 171, where
Mhm.
now, and then this last time it was 186. So 16 pounds worth of diets later, probably 3 diets, 5 pounds each one, gaining more, that's no good.
Well, and we have to be really careful too because, we actually do some damage to ourselves by dieting. Like some of the things that
Right.
we do when we diet are really harmful to our metabolism and, aren't giving us the nutrition we need. And so I guess that's kind of the one of the downsides of all the stuff that's out there for weight loss is, there's a lot of people saying like, this is the one secret or this is the one product. And the truth is, for one, there's not one secret or one product. But
Right.
for two, a lot of those are producing really quick weight loss because they're dropping your calories super low. And that's not going to be, for one, sustainable. But for two, it's really not good for you health wise over the long term.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, I'm a carbohydrate junkie. Truthfully use food for any feelings. Where do you start? What do you tell somebody? Where do they start?
Well, I think just kind of having some of those realizations about like the things that are contributing helps you to kind of figure out maybe what things might need to be addressed to make you successful, and that's different for a lot of people. So it's important to kind of do some reflection and figure out what's going on with you, and then if it's there are times when it's worth probably having somebody to help you out with that, depending on, how much you feel like you're struggling. I mean, there are a tremendous number of resources out there online, but the hard part is I feel like some of them feel kind of scammy because what they're really trying to do is sell you something.
Right.
So that gets a little bit tricky sometimes. But I,
Right.
I think with carbs in general, like carbs aren't evil. It's not that you can never eat carbs again, but there is sort of a cycle that happens in our body where the more of those we eat, the more of them we want. And so sometimes just taking a little bit of a break or we're cutting back on the really super processed, refined stuff for a short while, even just a few days, can help you feel a little bit more in control of that situation.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, starting to kind of look at if you realize that it's an emotional thing, then, think about how you feel. Like when you go and you get ice cream because you're feeling stressed out, does it really make you feel better? Or is it, it didn't really help at all, or it helped for a short period of time and then you feel really guilty and sleepy. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes just sort of starting to work through some of those mindfulness type things related to how we make food choices can help.
I will say when I started, somebody just asked how you felt about intermittent fasting, and I will say you really changed how I felt. I always thought that was sort of a fad, and you were like, no, it's not. It's a great thing to do
I think
from a
there's some
physician angle, not just to pretend to be a doctor on TV angle.
and I'm not a doctor, I'm a PA, just
Yeah,
so that I'm not misrepresenting anything. I'm not trying to pretend to be a doctor.
no,
Um,
only
but
me.
I think there's some benefits to intermittent fasting. And so I think that can be something that's helpful for people. Sometimes it helps people who are struggling with like the hunger side of things because it helps them just to feel a little bit more in control of their eating and the hunger eating cycles. It also tends to help people a lot who are struggling with like insulin resistance and that
Mm.
side of things that can complicate weight loss.
Yeah, and I've liked this summer, this kind of 12 to 8 time frame has been good for me. We eat later in the summer. We're out, side longer. We're in the winter, the 10 to 6 worked pretty well. So I've been taking a medicine called Saxenda, and Angela was just on my subscriber video. We were talking about how, medicine is not the same for everybody, and it's worked great for me, which is great. And but it doesn't for other people. Some people, I'm getting ready to switch over to Wegovy. My insurance covers that, but Saxenda, I give myself a daily shot. And really, when people say, "Well, what does it do?" It just makes me not think about food constantly, which I guess is really what I've been doing for years. I said, it's like I have no urge to go get a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit in the morning. Um, so it's been great for that because I feel like it's always just been this mind war that I'm losing. I quit smoking when I started this journey. So I really knew like I can't, if I quit smoking and don't do something, I'm going to be like a hog. I mean, it's going to be bad, bad times. Because I would go get a Coke slushy, have a smoke, get a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. And I like have 3 children. My littlest has autism, and he real fast and I just wasn't ready to like totally concede defeat, even if I do have on basically a moo right now. So it was important to me. So somebody just said, how much? I think I've lost about 30 pounds. I think I've kind of stayed the same the last couple months. I was 186. I'm like 157-ish, give or take a Bowberry biscuit every now and then.
You've done a great job.
But
That's
it's been good and I feel better. And I think, wow, I want to talk about this. I want people to have access and know so they can talk to their regular doctors. Tell them who your patients are. Angela is in North Carolina, so she sees people in North Carolina, but there's a website if you're not North Carolina that you can go to and find somebody to help you.
Yeah, so I'm a member of the Obesity Medicine Association, and that was the group that I was really happy and lucky to find when I started looking for more training on how to help my patients who are wanting to lose weight when I was in primary care because um, this is just not something that we're really taught, so PAs and NPs and doctors, we don't get a whole lot of education on obesity and on how to help people lose weight and what kind of nutrition is the right plan, for somebody that's trying to lose weight. That's just not really what's covered in depth in school. And so it really takes people who want to seek that out on, separately. There's a specialty now. Doctors can get like a board certification in obesity medicine. And anyway, the OMA, their website is obesitymedicine.org. And if you don't live in North Carolina and you're looking for somebody in your area, then you can, there's like I think it's a blue button if I remember right, that says find a clinician. And you can click that and it brings up like a search tool where you can search for people that are in your area who would be specially trained in the kind of work that we're talking about tonight. I want to point out something that you said that I think is really cool. So, earlier you said you felt like it was really helpful realizing that not everything was you or something that you were doing wrong.
Right.
And kind of then when you were talking about the Saxenda, you said, it just helps me not to think about food all the time. Well, the reason that it does that is because it's helping your body be more sensitive to a hormone called leptin. So I think it's pretty crazy to realize that hunger is really driven by like a hormone balance in our body. There's a hormone called ghrelin that tells us we're hungry. And there's a hormone called leptin that tells us that we're satisfied. And so a lot of times, whether we feel like ravenously hungry or not, don't feel like eating at all, it has more to do with the balance of those hormones. And so I
So
think that's
interesting.
really cool, to realize, because sometimes we think about it in a very different and we internalize a lot of those things, but like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have control over those hormones. That's not something that you can control.
No,
And
no.
so that's how medicines like Saxenda and Wegovy work. There's some other things that they're doing metabolically, but that's one of the big things that they're doing is helping your body be sensitive to leptin. And so you have lots of leptin telling you you're satisfied and you don't need to go around looking for food all the time.
Right. Yeah, and I think I told you, or I've said when we were first kind of did my intake interview, I said I've always eaten a lot. Now, I was skinny, tiny, skinny, and when you're skinny and eat a lot, nobody cares, right? Because you're skinny. But
Right.
I would go to people's houses and I literally remember feeling embarrassed because I needed two Happy Meals. And all the
Mhm.
other little girls, got their four-piece chicken nugget, where I love my friend Maggie because you could get a big classic meal because I wanted to eat the whole thing. So my brain has always said, you're hungry to
Mhm.
me. And it wasn't maybe till I stopped growing, till I stopped, when you're playing sports 3 hours a day, who knows
Mhm.
what, that it became a problem to me. I'm not any different than I was then. I've always had these kind of same,
Mhm.
this aptitude, I guess, and just over the years, you have your uh, whoever say, well, just don't eat so much or go exercise or, and people are not, you hear little comments like that over and over and over again. And you do start thinking, well, it's me, I'm
Mhm.
weak, you know, um, and, and we don't want to talk about it because then it's like, oh, well, you're taking medicine or, oh, you have surgery. And you just said earlier on the subscriber video, a lot of companies don't cover these medicines like what I'm taking, Saxenda, but most insurance companies do cover weight loss surgery. And
Like I'm the most familiar with coverage in North Carolina, but like North Carolina, for example, Um, so Medicare nowhere, like nationally, Medicare does not currently cover any medicines for weight loss, but they do cover weight loss surgeries. In North Carolina, I believe that currently all the commercial insurance policies are required to provide coverage for weight loss surgery if you meet the criteria where that would be appropriate for you. But
Mhm.
that's not a requirement for them to cover medicines, and
Right.
not all of them do. In fact, I don't know a good percentage, but feels like a good bit don't.
Yeah, that might be a good Angela TED Talk. Angela, your cousin is on here, Kathy Murphy.
Hey, Kathy.
So Angela lives in Wake Forest. Angela, um, who comes to you? Who do you see? Tell us about your client base right now, or patient base, not client.
So, I mean, I have patients really of a very broad range of adult ages, but I
Okay.
would say honestly, the majority of my patients are women who are probably 40 to 70. Like if you had to pick like the where most people fit. And
Right.
I think that the reason I think that might be is because I think that probably by the time that you're our age that you've tried all the other fad
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
and seen that they didn't really work,
Right.
and then you're ready to do something different. But I do have great folks who are younger than that, and I have some men that I've really enjoyed helping. So
Right.
it's a broad range of people.
Well, and how great if you could start this younger before you started this bad, unhealthy cycle of losing, gaining, each time gaining more. I wouldn't have started at 186,
Yeah, I feel like the real cool thing would be if we can really do a good job with education such that we can like we've lived these last 20, 30, 40 years of doing whatever diet wise, but we could still do something different for people that are younger than us, like kids
Mm-hmm.
and grandkids. And so if we can help them to have a better relationship with weight and food and all these different things, and be able to make some changes sooner, I think that would be really
Right.
cool.
Well, and I remember growing up, how many kids, in the cafeteria, their mom had them on a diet. And we were 9 or 10, it was
Yeah,
not
I, I
uncommon.
I was really surprised. So, I mean, I remember my mom dieting when I was in, I guess probably middle school. Um, and that was just a very normal thing, to kind of, know about that and see whatever the current diet was.
Right.
But I have some patients who shared with me that their moms packed Slim Fast in their lunch boxes, or that they remembered joining Weight Watchers when they were very young.
Right.
And I took for granted that that was something that was happening to kids at a very early age.
Hmm. I'm super cognizant, and that's a whole nother video, but the way, and my cousin Patty was super good about that and this kind of relationship with food and how not talking to children of, oh, you look good, oh, you look bad, really commenting on anybody's body at all,
Mhm.
because there's never a place to comment on someone's body, no matter what it is. And that has been really helpful for me. And even in this journey, when people come up and ask me, like I told you now, if I'm at the pool or I'm wherever, and it's like, tell me, I'll say, I'm not talking about this in front of the
Right.
children. Now, my oldest son is, and I mean, I'm honest. I say I take the
Mhm.
shot. It helps with a hormone that helps me not be so hungry. I want to be healthier. I need to lose weight. It's okay to say I'm not at a healthy weight. I mean, that's a true fact.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be a model, but I want to be healthier. And how do I get there? And what do I need to do? And I need help, which they find, highly entertaining, because the other day I had a spaghetti and then I got more spaghetti. And my son, my oldest son said, did you have your shot today? And I was like, I'm going to give him the finger. I mean, and no, I hadn't had it. And I mean, just like that, like 2 bowls of spaghetti, I mean, anyway.
Well, I think I have two teenage girls, and I'm very mindful of that. I don't want to pass on any,
Right,
weird complexes to them at all.
right.
And so I definitely am mindful of that when I'm trying to help other parents. And I think the biggest things are how we talk about it in front of our family, and how we frame it. And um, I was speaking with a counselor who was sharing with me that one of the worst things that we can do is say that we were bad or good. So
Hmm.
if you had 2 bowls of spaghetti, to say,
Oh, I was
oh my
bad.
gosh, I was so bad today.
Right,
I can't, now I have to do this as
right, right,
punishment for myself, or I
right.
can't, now I have to eat only salad tomorrow because I was bad
Yeah.
today. Because if we start to label food as good and bad,
Hmm.
then it's a whole different, a whole different framework for us and for kids. And
Right.
really, it's all just food, and there's some of it that is better for us and is good for us to have every day as nutrition, and some of it is not good for us to have every single day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have to take away some of those,
Right.
the stigma and the feelings we attach to it.
Right. Right. Yeah, that might be a good next time we do a big video on really how you talk to children, how you talk about yourself, how you talk with them. I mean, I remember I had a pediatrician who Russell, my one of my children had gained, a little weight. He was getting ready to grow. And the pediatrician was like, whoa, whoa, what? Like, and I was like, I hadn't worked hard this long, not to mention his weight, to have it just thrown out here in this appointment like this. I was like, we're not doing it this way. No. Um, because he grew, he was growing.
Mhm.
And so I also think, follow your instinct too. Mm. It's tiring. I tell you what, it, ugh, one teenage girl, and I've only had a teenage girl for like 4 days, seems like a lot.
I think it's fun. I don't know. I think that the teenage years are fun. I mean, all the years come with like their own set of challenges and then their own good stuff, and so you just
Yeah.
sort of have to.
Oh no, it is fun. Yes, I now have three teenagers, two teenage boys. Teenage boys are different. Girls are just different. Girls are
I
like,
believe you.
I made birthday dinner and I said, "How was the dinner?" She was like, "It looks sad." And no boy is going to tell you their dinner looks sad. Uh, well, I linked your Facebook page on here. Angela sees you have right many clients these days, or patients that she sees in North Carolina. And like you said, you can always go to your general physician and talk to them. I think we both obviously want to get the word out that if you need help and you're struggling, get some help. Angela's a great, what I think I've liked about you is that I feel like you spent a lot of time getting to know me and making me think about what my issues were. And as I was, I said, I got to quit smoking. You were like, you know what, let's go down on my Zoloft, started taking Wellbutrin. I lost 10 pounds really before I started the medicine. I think just the Wellbutrin and intermittent fasting, and that made me feel successful. Like, I can do this. And it's every day. Some days I don't drink enough water. Some days you know, but I'm always trying to I do know what to do. It's just making it a habit that's key.
Yeah, I mean, and being real about things too, and I think that's something that you're great about is just sort of being real about where you are and being. I think it's really cool that you kind of said to me up front, like, look, I'm not going to be willing to do anything that I can't continue feasibly, for the next 5 years. Like, if I don't think I can do that, then we're just not even going to talk about it.
Right,
And you
right,
even were like, don't take this away from me yet. I'm not ready for that. And I think that, I mean,
might
I
have been
think
my
you have to
cigarette.
be real about where you are.
Right. Oh, it might have been my sugar in my coffee. Ugh. I'm still not to liking, sweet and low, stevia, all that crap people want me to drink. I just like buckets of sugar. That's what I like.
You can't just drink
And
it
I
flat.
and I think too, the question is how much weight do you want to lose? Where are you trying to get? I think I'm pretty open of saying I don't really have a goal weight in mind. I'm at 157 now. I feel like I could get into the 140s and I think if I were at 147, I might say to you, I think this is good. I'm good. Let me work on maintaining, like you and I have talked about exercise, and I've been swimming with my 8-year old, which involves him on my back in the deep end, which I will say is quite a good workout. And so I'm not there yet, I don't think, but it's kind of fun to just see where I'll end up. I have no grand aspirations of what the days of 124 or honestly 130, 140 something sounds pretty lean right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of talked about it in the beginning with you. We called it like your happy, healthy weight. Like,
Hmm.
what's the place where you feel good, you're healthy, you're happy living the way that it takes to maintain that. Because that's going to be more successful for you and healthier for you in the long run than like picking an arbitrary weight that's hard, that either you can't maintain or you're miserable, with what it
Right,
would take to stay there.
right, right. Yeah, I agree. Happy, healthy weight. Um, Angela, I just appreciate you so much coming on. Angela does pretty good. We missed a couple weeks, but weekly videos we've been doing for months on my subscriber page. and we tackle different topics. We've talked about specific medicines, side effects. Did a week on weight loss surgery, did a week on thyroid. What else have we talked about? Intermittent fasting one week.
Mm-hmm. We've covered a
Um,
lot of topics. It's been fun getting to kind of like, go through and pick a topic and answer. I like your supporters are really good about asking questions. That's always fun.
yeah, they like a question. These people like a question. So anyway, it's been great for me, and I feel like I'm constantly learning, which is super helpful to kind of stay the course. Stay the course. My new thing is trying to get some exercise. So,
I think that's important.
and
We've
being
talked about
excited about it.
exercise. I think we did a thing on exercise, didn't we, one time?
We did. I blocked it out. We might have to do that again.
Well, let me tell you why exercise is important.
All right.
So I guess let me start this by saying that, like, since some people might not have heard me say this before. So exercise is good for us for all kinds of different reasons. But if we're strictly talking about the weight loss part of exercise, in the beginning, when you're, working on losing weight, really the things that you do diet wise and just sort of like what amount of cumulative activity are you getting during the day, that's really what's important. But when it comes to keeping off weight loss, so maintaining the weight that you've lost,
Mm-hmm.
that's where making sure that you have kind of a regular exercise program really makes a bigger difference, and especially resistance training to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you're maintaining muscle mass, because that has a big thing to do with our metabolism. So whereas exercise is not as huge of a issue right up front with weight loss, it is when we look at statistically who can successfully keep off the weight that they lose. One of the things that those people have in common is continuing regular exercise most days of the week.
Okay. That's good. I need to hear that over and over again. And it's hard. Like I so get it. I mean, I think it is, I work from home, so that automatically is easier for me. People have crazy work schedules. Maybe they're a nurse or a physician or they're a blogger. Maybe they have a child with autism who cannot be left alone ever. It is super hard
Mm-hmm.
personally for me to do anything when I have Amos around. I'd just gotten
Mm-hmm.
into bed between videos. So I could like do this video and not my last video. I was like turning on Peppa Pig and making frozen pancakes and pouring the syrup in the right bowl. I get it. It's really hard. And so um, the summer for me has been okay. He likes to be in the pool. We get in there for 15 or 20 minutes a few times a day. If I can swim 10 minutes of those, trying to work in exercise just where I can and knowing, what, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but I get it. It is hard. And I don't think it's ever easy. I remember when all my kids went to school, I was like, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna have all this time. And there's older moms would tell you when you have little kids, like, it goes so fast. Well, you become that person and want to say that. But if you exercise and take a shower, well, there goes half the day. So that's why I don't shower typically.
So
Because I just cannot
exercise and
waste
no showers.
any more of my freedom on when the children are at school.
Well, you're in the pool. That counts for something, right?
I know. I mean, my hair is constantly wet and I think it's turning green. Anyway, I can't worry about that. Well, thank you again for coming on, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the subscriber page next week. And folks, if you want to get in touch with Angela, her link to her Facebook page is in this video, so you can find her. If you want to be a subscriber and get weekly tips from her, come on over to the dark side. But anyway, thank you again. If I don't tell you thank you enough, I really am appreciative.
Well, you're welcome. And I appreciate the chance to get to talk to all the folks with you on your page. It's been really wonderful.
Well, good. And Angela's been doing live videos lately. My subscribers are super excited. They're like,
I haven't been doing a lot of videos, but I do need to do more. So it's something I'm committing to, is to try to at least once a week. That's my new plan.
It's nerve-wracking.
Especially when I'm by myself, Adrian. It's not so bad when I'm with you, but when it's just me, I'm like,
Right, right. It's so true. I like want a buddy all the time because I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Like, it's insane. And then sometimes there's no one watching. I'm like, well, there's no pressure then. Just me alone here on the camera.
I don't believe that nobody's watching.
Oh, it's been known to happen. Or my children are like, you're gaslighting me. Stop it. Anyway. Well, have a good night and look forward to
Thank you.
talking to you soon.
All right, you too. Take care.
Okay,
Bye, y'all.
bye. See y'all.